Umpires are John Harvey, Kieran Nichols and Grant Verdon. For Carlton, Melbourne at the Optus Oval. Not a bad crowd in attendance despite the stand being constructed. Madden, game number 315. Seacamp, quick hand pass. Obst, he was one of the best in the ground last week. And the D's, can they get it up quickly? Viney. Smith has it punched away by Silvani. Smith was in great form last week before he copped a heavy knock. Silvani can't handle that. Now Phoebe, a chance. 45 metres out, goes at goal, hit the post. That would have been a great start for the D's. Matthew Phoebe not having any luck at all with the kick, just shaving the post on the way through. So first score to Melbourne. Glenn Manton's going to bring the ball back.
And Mountain favours the outer side of the ground. Williams is his target. Ball is punched away by Turley. Koutafidis across to Ange Christou. The two of them combine. Down towards Spalding. Neitz is there. Puts his hands to the ball and knocks it over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Neitz playing centre-half back, which is a little bit of an alteration to what we've seen in the Melbourne lineup just recently. He normally plays centre-half forward, of course.
Kernahan is lined up at full forward. Ingerson has been given the job to curb the Carlton skipper back into the side after missing last week's game. Koutafidis over the top and just hangs onto the ball with that one paw. But the free kick goes against him. And a 50-metre penalty as well. And the umpire hasn't brought it back. He will. In fact, Grant is going to take it now on centre wing. Manton in front takes the mark.
Former Bomber onto a former South Australian. Bradley. Ratton. Kernahan. And out of bounds in front of Sticks. Captain since 1987, won the goal kicking 10 times. Doesn't lead the goal kicking at Carlton this year. Who's to say he won't win it though again? Missed last week through injury. Steins, 200th consecutive game today. Obst grabbed when he didn't have it. Snap at goal in the meantime. And Hogg, that's touched on the way through. One behind. So scores level at Princes Park or Optus Oval, if you prefer to call it that. 18.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Lovett is going to kick in. D's winning here last week over St Kilda to break their duck. Carlton losing last week after 18 consecutive wins. Bradley gets it out to Hogg. 45 metres out, goes at goal. Kernahan in the goal square, kicks the Blues first. So Hogg combining successfully with his skipper. 1-1, Melbourne 1 behind.
And I think we see it week in, week out, don't we, when the opposition decides to play a zone defence against the kick in, and if you don't get that first or second possession, all these players are free back in that where they've zoned up initially, and that's exactly what happened there.
So Madden in the ruck versus Steins. Bradley taps the ball forward, but a free kick will go to Justin Madden. Kicks quickly down once more. Kernahan's the target. Spalding also up high. Neitz got his fist to the ball. Spalding does well to Clappe. Kernahan's got a chance. He could kick it off the ground. He does so. 2 goals for Stephen Kernahan.
Well, that'll lift his confidence after missing last week.
Well, and how often do we see Kernahan kick that first goal or two to get Carlton's momentum going in the very early part of the game, and set up by Clappe back in the side this last couple of weeks, playing up a sort of second half forward flank situation.
Well, Melbourne hit the post once, but Steve Kernahan has got 2 goals from inside the square. Steins and Madden, 2 of the old war horses, go at it. Neither gets an effective tap out. Ball out towards the centre wing position. It's a foot race. It's no race in the end. Camporelli kicks towards right half forward. Good gather by Spalding, just inside the line, but he's taken over and leaves a divot like I would take with a 1 iron on the first tee. So throw it right half forward now for Carlton. Almost in front of where the premiership flag was unfurled for the second time this year. Lovett takes it from Turley. Is that a mark? Umpire says, Ron DiUlio, you can go back and take your kick. He'll be very keen to do well today, DiUlio. A couple of in and out seasons. Harry Madden, yes, in game number 315, takes the grab in front of Steins, out in front of Sticks. Kernahan, one hand to it. Clappe, a chance, almost pinned. Heaver against his old side, kicks and kicks truly. A goal. The Blues third. Carlton off to a flying start, 3-1 to one behind.
This is a flying start, and we're seeing that Madden, what his tactics has been in the last year or two is to push into that half-forward line as a marking target rather than trying to play as a defender on the ruck. When that's initial marking contest, again Clappe in the play, and Heaver, of course, who is a very good goal kicker in that forward pocket.
5 changes to the Carlton side today. Beaumont, DiUlio, Davenport, Kernahan and Rowan Welsh playing his first game for a couple of years.
Yes, he's almost the forgotten player out at Carlton, isn't he, Kev?
Well, he hurt his, broke his leg on an inter-season trip in '93, then did his knee in '95. Before that, he showed a lot of promise. So Melbourne trying to answer Kernan's first quick couple of goals. They won't do it that way. Manton chipping in front of Smith. Across to Ratton. He can go short and finds Beaumont. In for his first game this year. 2 games last year. Just a youngster making his way in the game. Williams. Oh, a slips catch. Not paid. It's heavy out on the wing. Uze. Quick kick back to 50. Camporelli. Got a kind bounce. Caught high. Not seen by the ump. Ratton with quick hands to Whitehead. And Neitz takes the easiest chest marks. Wants to play on quickly. It's got Viney loose. Looking for Steins. Brownlow medalist, best and fairest winner. Now 200 consecutive games, a marvellous record. Yeah. Smith's his target, puts him under a lot of pressure, and Koutafidis takes the grab.
Koutafidis onto his mate now. Christou needs to bounce kindly for Sexton. It does. Long hand pass. Bradley past Ops, the 2 South Australians. Clappe. Back it comes to him again. Dual best and fairest at Carlton. Kernahan punched away by Ingerson. Melbourne defence working over. Ooh. Working overtime. Heaver a chance. Seacamp's got him. Ball underneath. Needs to be taken out. Viney looks for holding the ball. Umpire says no. Clappe. Now Kernahan. Kernahan turns it a thrippity bit. Kicks it goal but misses this time. He's already kicked 2. 2 goals, 1. Now to the skipper. Record-breaking term as captain of Carlton. 3-2 the Blues. And Melbourne just 1 behind. That poster kicked by Todd Viney. Good crowd in attendance. It was a Bass ticket-only affair this game because of the construction work at the other end. No car parking today as well because of the rain we've had during the week in Melbourne. But despite that fact, they've turned out in numbers as Hopwood takes the pass at right half-back.
Goes down forward where we see Nettlebeck. Juggles the mark. 4 goals last week. Bradley up high. He's given away the free kick, has he? No, says the umpire. We've got a boundary throw in. Ops thought he should have got the free kick. 65 metres around from Melbourne's goal. Steins versus Madden. Phoebe, quick kick inside 50. Too far for Nettlebeck. DiUlio on hands and knees. Whitehead. Ange Christou taken the ground by Farmer. 3-2 Carlton, Melbourne 1 point. Clarkson feeds the ball out to Phoebe to Farmer. Just lost control. He's caught. Christou, the relieving kick from half back. Clappe, clever play to the running Sexton. Streams through the centre of the ground. Williams is the target. Lack of pace that time against Cowell, who is quick.
He's real quick.
And a beautiful pass by Cowell finds Ops.
Yes, you called it perfectly, Kev. Obst back to Cowell, still running. Outside 50, the D's need a goal. Terrible pass. Sean Smith, can he make amends? Oh, delightful snap. He's goal. Full marks to Sean Smith. He was able to make amends after the pass didn't hit him the way he would have liked. 3-2 to 1-1, but Cowell, plenty of running there out of defence, Lee.
Well, yes, Greg Williams started in midfield, but has gone into the forward line, and Matthew Hogg has replaced him, and that's where the pace advantage of Cowell was able to just basically outpace Williams in the run of the ball, follow up, and then a good finish by Smith, the hook over his left shoulder.
Steins this time wins the tap. Ops does well, back to Steins. Kicks to the front of the square. Smith got a hand to it. Sexton, the ever-reliable. Over the top to Ange Christou. Listen to the woof when he puts his foot into the ball. I just love him at Carlton. And he always inevitably finds Koutafidis, his mate, who's off and running. You can see how soft the ground is. The ball just wouldn't come up. And finds Big Madden.
Free kick.
So if Justin can pop this through from right on 50, Robert Heatley's stand will really shake. Not paid the mark, but paid the free kick against Anthony Ingerson. Former Crow. He's got a big job playing on Stephen Kernahan today. Sticks Kernahan has already booted 2 goals in this opening term. Fancies himself, Justin, pulling up the socks, testing the breeze. There's none. Madden's got the distance, not the accuracy, out of bounds on the full.
Well, he let us all down there. Would have brought the house down. So kick in comes from Turley to the outer side. Koutafidis goes hard at Grant, a former Saint. Most of those games, of course, for the St Kilda Football Club. David Grant kicks to the outer side. Madden and Steins there in the thick of things again with Alistair Clarkson in the foreground. It will be thrown in on centre wing. It's going to be a magnificent stadium when the new construction is finished. A little bit of inconvenience in the meantime. Certainly on a day like today, when everybody wants to go to the footy, it tests a few out. Ratton, reigning best and fairest winner at Carlton. Manton's been good so far. Ratton again, shepherded by Beaumont. Short kick, he'll be looking for Kernahan. Almost a free kick there. Umpire lets to let it go. The Demons defence still under plenty of pressure. Heaver over the top. Turley tries to burrow in, flipped out. Williams shipping in. These will run this out. Phoebe. Love it. From Kernahan. Nice sidestep. Now on to Sampson. Sampson at left centre wing. Well, he's got a bit of toe, hasn't he? He's run too far. Too much toe. One of the rookies, and he has a glare at the umpire, but I don't think we could really argue with that. Kernahan back to Manton, who, as I mentioned, he's been good so far, up towards full forward. The Blues would love another one. Clapper, can he give it to them? No. Might be out of bounds on the full, and in fact it is. Jim Steins, Brownlow medalist, will take the free kick in the right back pocket.
Steins goes wide. He's looking for Grant. Under pressure from Ratton. They can raffle this Carlton. Bingo, lucky number 7, Ratton. Back to Williams. Loves setting up the play to Heaver. Madden's got all the time in the world from on 50. Again, he's off target.
He's getting closer though, he missed everything before.
Last week he was on and off the bench against Fremantle with Matthew Allen sharing the ruck work. Allen today, an emergency for the Blues. So Madden will do the bulk of the ruck work, and at Optus Oval, which is not a big ground, he should be able to do that. Ingerson onto that left boot. Up towards Steins, the punch wave was from Manton. Neats gets there. Koutafidis pinches it off and gives it away to Manton. Kicks back to the wing where Grant should mark. just under 200 games for St Kilda before moving across to Melbourne this year.
Actually, they have lengthened this ground, Kev, so it's probably just about the same size as the MCG now. These could get a goal here. Clarkson runs in. Uze almost has to beat Silvani. Snaps and goals. Uze kicks his first and the D's hit back. And he's one of their shining lights, or will be in the next few seasons. Adam Uze. It's 3-3 to 2-1.
It was an important couple of goals by Melbourne. I mean, really, that Carlton first 3 or 4 minutes, 3 goals, and they really were up and running. But Melbourne have fought their way back into it. They're trying to set up basically a loose man in defence, Melbourne. Grant is opposed, I suppose, if you want to call opposed, to Manton, and they're both loose on the opposite half back lines.
Carlton by 8 points. Turley, it's the second time he slipped over at the critical moment. Sampson over the top of the ball. So a ball up, still inside the centre square, and we see Sampson and Camporelli and Clarkson also chipping in for a few words. So free kick goes to the Blues, and Madden quickly kicks back to 50. Kernhan in front, punched away by Ingerson, pounced on by Hogg, couldn't control it. Kicked off the ground by Clappe. Centres the ball to Spalding. Wonderful play by Matt Clappe.
Well, an initial contest, remember it was Justin Madden and Jim Steins wrestling before the umpire bounced the ball. It caused a stricter interpretation probably of the ruck rule, and we saw an example of it to get the ball forward for Carlton. Clappe again set this Spalding up magnificently, didn't he?
So from point blank range he kicks a goal.
And he's fourth for the year, Earl Spalding. Up until then he'd kicked 3 goals 6, but that one fairly point blank.
Yes, at the moment, Matt Clappe is basically being picked up by Brett Lovin, and he's really just running too hard for Lovin. I think it might be that Grant will end up going across onto Clappe, because that position at the moment is really troubling Melbourne. It's been a good first 15 minutes by Clappe.
Madden and Williams, Steins and Viney at the centre bounce. Madden doing well. Kick away by Craig Turley. Doesn't really travel too much distance. Bradley from Farmer. The bouncing ball's going to be a factor. It was a real off break, that one. The D's with the numbers. Turley and Neitz. They combine well to Steins. And away he goes. 200 consecutive games for Jim Steins. Finds Matthew Phoebe, who kicked the D's first score. A poster. And that one equally inaccurate. Hits Sexton. Bradley. Wait for the Wolf. Christou. Good long kick. Spalding the target. Neitz in front. Good block. Hogg likewise. And again. Cow runs into trouble and gets out of trouble. Amazingly done. Bump ball. Bradley. Beautifully read. A holding decision going Melbourne's way. It's going to be taken by Grant, I think. Yes. Right centre wing. Smith taken out of the contest. Silvani's opponent does some clever little leg work. Farmer on the boundary line. Snaps back, keeps it in play. It's rolling. Needed just a little bit more speed. Obst goes at it pretty hard, but it's out of bounds. Right forward pocket for Melbourne. 5 metres from their behind post, with the first quarter in the latter stages here at Optus Oval.
Blues by 14 points. Madden has dominated the ruck, getting his hand to the ball first. Christou, his kick smothered, ricochets back. Kicks out wide, Bradley's there, and Zach Koudafidi's down. I think it is. So Koudafidi's in the hands of the trainer.
Bit of blood there too, I think, KB, so he'll be off shortly. Right now, come to think of it.
So Anthony Koutafiti is about to come off, and warming up is Justin Murphy, who will be able to come straight onto the ground because they can cross now with the blood rule this year, just to save a bit of time. So Murphy comes onto the ground, and Koutafiti's with a gash, looks like above the right eye. Murphy's been a bit of a surprise packet since joining Carlton from Richmond. Kicked 5 goals in his first league game with the Tigers, but just over the last season or so has just struggled to hold a regular spot. But he was an outstanding under-18 player, Teal Cup star for Victoria, and has done very well playing in every game so far this year for the Blues. So Koutafiti's slowly walking off the ground, in no hurry.
Get the Bronx cheer soon. So finally he crosses the line, and after a lengthy break the game will resume. On the outer side, Madden and Steins. We'll be saying that a bit today. Hogg might have been held a bit too long in the tackle. No, Hogg's going to take the free kick. Hogg from left half-back flank. Neitz did well. Beaumont. Camporelli. Maybe too far out to score. The length and Optus over. Williams at the back. In front. Turley has taken the mark. Not a free kick, so he has to go back and take it. Craig Turley, former West Coast Eagle. On to Matthew Phoebe. Brother Stephen out injured, still with injured knee. Seacamp. Marcus Seacamp from left half-back. Will land the kick about centre wing. Sexton punches straight into the arms of Steins. Almost a Gaelic football style there as he ploughs it low up towards left half forward. Manton doing well in defence in the opening quarter. Sampson ran too far early. This time gets his kick in and does well. Clarkson taken down. Is that 50? No. So Alistair Clarkson from left half forward. Centering kick from him. Chipping in well as Hogg. Carlton's defence working well. Up to Sexton. Nice hand pass. Away it goes to DiUlio. DiUlio's kick inside 50. Marking contest. Spalding at the back. Couldn't take it. Kernahan was caught out of position as well. And Melbourne, will they get out of danger? No, they won't, because that's out of bounds on the full. Steins just couldn't get there. Now that might be 50. It is. And Bradley will have a shot, you would think, from point-blank range. That's just undisciplined, isn't it?
There's a severe penalty to 50 metres, isn't it? And, you know, you've just got to be disciplined enough not to make an 80-metre kick from goal into the 30-metre set shot.
So Craig Bradley, 3 best and fairest he's won at Carlton. Well, kick from about 35 metres. The angle is the factor. Not a problem in the world for Craig Bradley. He gets his first. Carlton goes further ahead.
Yes, they're in reasonable control of the game, Carlton. I think their defence is so good it's hard to see Melbourne being able to sort of break that down now that Carlton have got this initial 3-goal break. And a fantastic finish by Craig Bradley, one of the better players, I would think, to give the ball to if you've got a set shot from that 30 or 40 metre range. A very straight kick.
The Blues by 20 points. Bradley was an outstanding player against Fremantle, one of the few Carlton players to contribute all day. Just his second game for the year. Hogg, quick kick out of the centre square. Heaver appealed for the free kick for the Blues. Camporelli just weaves his way out of the pack on 50. Clappe overruns the ball. Cow does well. Under pressure to Grant, is caught. So Cow was doomed to have plenty of time to offload the ball.
It was jarred free in the tackle.
And once he's had the opportunity, it has to be a correct hand pass or a correct kick, and neither of those happened, so I think it was a correct decision under the interpretations that are in force in 96.
So Clappe, 35 metres out, directly in front. And he's kicked a goal. He's been good, Lee.
He's had a fantastic first 20 minutes or first quarter, 25 minutes of the first quarter. Clappe across that half full, a very hard running player. Melbourne must be really, I think they've actually shifted Darren Cowell onto him, who's giving away a bit of height, but at least has probably got the speed and the run to at least keep the pressure on him.
The difference is out to 26 points in the first quarter now after Clappe's goal. Carlton 6, Bradley, another knock-on. These want something to happen. That might have been a throw almost to Grant. The umpire lets it go. Turley, some heavy work in the packs there. Tingay on the ground now for the first time. Kicks up towards Sean Smith. Great attempt to mark. Couldn't complete it. Tackle was by Silvani. It let Sexton in for the clearing kick. Koutafidis just back on the ground. Has a panic to move in out there. And with those divots, it looks like it. Well, he tried to bounce it. In fact, he's done that twice today out there. Tingay underneath him. Will have to get it out, son. Neitz goes hard with Kernahan. Grant and Bradley. Tingay again. That's a good tackle by Heber. Now, Phoebe was grabbed when he didn't have it. Well, the umpire deciding that swallowing the whistle was the best option. Steve Tingay, great to see him back. Had to make a decision on his career. Nearly went to the Fremantle Dockers. Another blood rule. And Koutafidis might be going off again just as quickly as he came back. He is. So perhaps a little bit premature.
Let's hope he goes off the ground a little bit quicker than last time, Peter, because he just strolled off the ground, and I think that is wrong. I mean, he's quite capable of jogging off the ground. Justin Murphy's coming back on again, so this is what we call an instant replay.
The play happens to be over on the far side of the ground from the interchange bench as well. Just to explain what's actually going on a little bit, Andrew Optus is picking up Craig Bradley in the centre square, but then David Grant's coming from the back of the centre square trying to pick up Bradley and then trying to get Optus therefore as an extra running play around the midfield. And well, given that Carlton are in front, it's not working for Melbourne at this point.
So at ground level, Ratton with those quick hands. Carlton a very good midfield. Seacamp's caught. The tackling by Carlton's better than today than it was last week. Against Fremantle, they were given a lesson in tackling. Spalding just peering up at the umpire, shaking the hand.
I think it got stood on.
So on 50 for Carlton. Koutafidis once more warming up. Spalding with the free. And kicking from 55. Kernahan's the target. The kick's a poor one. Carlton 6-3, Melbourne 2-1. Kernahan, the only multiple goal kicker, with 2 goals.
Throw-in is in the Blues' left forward pocket. Neitz and Spalding. Beaumont, a quick kick. These are going to run this out. They need a couple of goals before quarter time. No mark taken. Umpire says play on. They can't. The ball's underneath. There's Clarkson applies a tackle.
The thing, Kevin, with Melbourne playing the extra sort of on-ball in odds, they've got to be able to run the ball out of defence. If they just run and kick it to the Carlton half-back line, well, Manton's the spare man. It's just not going to work at all.
Phoebe and Camporelli untangle themselves. And it's not going anywhere again. They all stop. The umpire will come in and once again bounce it. That's Kieran Nichols. The Blues with a very handy lead. 6-3 to 2-1. 26-point advantage, and you can see over there the umpire throwing it up very heavy. Viney around Hogg. Manages to keep the ball in play. Now Obst takes the hand pass. It came from Nettlebeck. It's bouncing. Silvani. Just before Andrew Obst can get there, right on the line beneath the crane for the newsstand. Approaching his 200th game, Steve Silvani. of the top defenders in the competition. Of course, occasionally gets the run in attack. Nettlebeck taps down. That's out of bounds. Taken over there by Ron DiUlio. Mentioned earlier, be very keen to do well here this afternoon. He's no longer a regular or permanent member of the Carlton side. So Madden has the height advantage on Nettlebeck. And still Harry does well. Nettlebeck pinned. Ball pinned to him according to the umpire, and it's going to be another ball up. So it's not happening for the D's on their forward line as the clock ticks down to just over 1 minute left in the first term. Christou tries to go off the ground. Turley's in there, picks up cleanly, snaps. Won't quite make the distance. Silvani in front does brilliantly. Sort of bolos it over his head for a rush behind to Melbourne. And with less than 1 minute to play, the scoreboard reads 6-3 to 2-1. In fact, it will be 2-2 now.
Whitehead marks the kick out. Melbourne without their skipper Gary Lyon, lined up with Sean Smith at full forward and Uze in the pocket as their two-pronged attack. This is a dangerous kick across goals. Chance now for Smith outside 50. He's got the loose player in Clarkson. So poor defensive play by the Blues could give Melbourne a goal just before the quarter-time siren.
This was a bad option, wasn't it? Going from basically one half-back flank to the other side of the centre square, that your teammate has to be completely unopposed if you're going to kick in that direction, and he wasn't. The ball was spoiled, and Melbourne have swept it back into the 50 for Clarkson to mark unopposed.
And he pops it through, so they've paid the penalty. So the Demons have their third goal on the board.
And obviously a very important goal for Melbourne, because Carlton really have got the look of the side that's got the initial break and are looking to build on it. So Melbourne really have to just struggle extremely hard at the moment just to stabilise the game, just to try and gradually wind Carlton back in.
Played 93 games with North Melbourne. Alistair Clarkson was a goal kicker there, booted over 60 goals. So looking forward to just rebuilding his league career with the Demons as Steins up over the top. Murphy, as the siren sounds, to end a very good first quarter for Carlton. 6 goals, 3 to Melbourne's 3 goals, 2, with Kernaghan being their major goal kicker with 2, and singles to Clappe, Spalding, Heaver and Bradley. And for Melbourne, 3 goal kickers or singles to Uze, Clarkson and Sean Smith. And there's Stephen Kernaghan, the skipper, be very happy with his opening turn.
Yeah, I don't think Melbourne are really out of it though, are they, Lee? Because there was just that passage of play where Carlton sneaked ahead. The D's hit the post once, the first scoring of the match. And then, of course, they had that 50-metre penalty, which was a goal, and also that free kick to Clappe.
Well, Carlton got the first 3 goals. After that first maybe 5 minutes of the game, it's been a fairly even quarter. As I say, Melbourne just have to gradually wind them in. The Jim Steins, Justin Madden, Jules, interesting. Both players are trying to push into their own forward lines respectively and drag the opposition ruckman with them as a defender. So it's a real battle of tactics between those two, trying to determine which part of the game their particular contest is going to be played.
The quarter time, Carlton leading Melbourne 6-3 to 3-2. Second quarter from Optus Oval, 19 points the difference in favour of Carlton. The Blues leading 6-3 to 3-2. The D's getting a goal right on the siren to keep them in the match. Big leap by Madden over the top of Steins. One of the more interesting duels. Clappe cannoned into, and you would think would get a free kick. He does. Murphy is almost asleep there, so he does the work himself. Williams in front. Good punch by Lovett. Camporelli puts his body on the line. Neats. Hand pass, Phoebe. Now the D should be able to run it out. Neats again, kicks towards centre wing. And they can come away with it here. Turley, who was their leading kick getter in the first quarter. Punch down Murphy. Good hand pass. Manton sold into trouble. Farmer cannons into him. Umpire lets it go. Nettlebeck, who kicked 4 goals last week, tries to break 2 tackles. Manton's got him. You're gone, son, holding the ball. Manton having a good first quarter. Former Bomber. Kick by Justin Murphy will land round about centre wing. Beaumont the chance. Couldn't take the mark. Now Cowell from right centre wing. Kick travels 45 metres up the right half forward. And again the ball beats Murphy over the boundary line. Off the hands of Nettlebeck, we'll see a throw in right next to the pennant. Fluttering, unveiled today for the second time.
And Koutafidis has just come onto the ground for Justin Murphy. Rowan Welsh is also starting to limber up on the boundary line. Hasn't played a senior game for a couple of years as Madden takes it out of the air. Ball beats Ratton over the line.
It's good to see him back, Kev, isn't it? It's been a long comeback, a long way to get back.
Well, he broke that ankle in '93 and then he had knee surgery in 1995. Looked like he was just on the threshold of a very good career with the Blues. Madden has the free kick, half-back flank. Spalding his target. Oh, great mark, Earl Spalding. Pushed under the ball. Plays on quickly, doesn't wait for the applause. Gives it to Bradley. He was looking for Kernahan. Ingerson just paddles the ball forward and over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Great mark, that.
So the Blues, 50 metres from goal. Steins gave the ball out to Neitz. It's been taken by Ratton. And a boundary throw-in just 15 metres around from Carlton's goal.
Maybe a member of the constabulary gets it to the boundary umpire. Carlton's left forward pocket. Spalding, Steins, Cow, nearly tripped up, still he goes. Keeps the ball in play, lobs it right on the 50-metre line. Koutafidis back onto the ground today. Or again, he's left a couple of times owing to the blood rule. Phoebe tackled well by Bradley. That's as far as they're going. Diulio, a little toe poke, only succeeds in getting it over the line for a throw-in between wing and left half forward for the Blues. Madden doing well. Certainly the duel of the day so far between these two veterans. Todd Viney's kick takes a right-hand turn at Albuquerque, and it's out of bounds on centre wing. Manton and Obst. Manton probably getting the better of that duel so far. Obst certainly in the D's best 2 or 3 last week, in the eyes of many was BOG against St Kilda. Here we go again. Madden wins it well. Free kick. Going to Big Jim. Steins doesn't get too much distance with the kick. Farmer a chance, robes it well off the hands of Nettlebeck. Kicks up towards Sean Smith. Great mark. Took some screamers last week. He opened the match with an absolute perler at the other end here at Optus Oval against St Kilda. Was KO'd later, stretched it off, came back, and you would almost call him the $6 million man after that effort. The squarest jaw in the business. Distance won't be a problem. Kick a goal. Oh, gee, it's not bad. It looks pretty good from here. Yes, it's through. Great effort.
Well, it was a good contest. I mean, Sean Smith has really become a very good player. He had his burst with North Melbourne a few years ago and was let go. Had some games in the association. He's come back in this last year and early this year. He's been a very dangerous forward. Was set up with some good crumbing work by young Farmer, and at least which came from Nettleback playing in front of Sexton.
Blues by 13 points. Madden, very good at the centre bounce, getting his hand on the ball.
Very noticeably Melbourne putting that extra player on the ball and trying to just really crowd that whole situation around these ball lines. But just at the moment, it's holding Carlton up, and I think quite effective at the moment.
Camporelli kicks it off the ground towards Spalding, and a free kick has been paid by the umpire who was in defence. John Harvey. So he spotted a free kick to Brett Lovett. Matthew Phoebe wanted it short. Good skills by Lovett. Very crowded centre square and half forward line for the Demons now. So Phoebe kicks a high ball down towards Steins. DiIulio gives it across to Bradley. Now on the break, Bradley's kicks a poor one. Doesn't favour Kernhan at all, and Inglison's very happy to run it over, and he's been pinged for it. No attempt to keep the ball in. No doubt it was a good decision.
We could have just let it go, would have gone out.
And Kernhan finds Spalding. So Big Earl's kicked a goal, and Sticks Kernhan is booted too.
I'm not so sure about that decision. I mean, really, he didn't have a desperate attempt to keep it in, Ingerson, but really, as you said, Peter, the ball was going out of bounds and he just went with it.
Once he took control, though, he just didn't make any attempt to keep the ball in play. Spalding, with this customary just a couple of strides. He may have pushed it right, although Kernhan likes it, it's a goal.
Well, a costly decision in the end of the D's. They had a couple of go against them in the first quarter, 50 metres, a free kick to Clappe, and now that one. So 3 goals that really shouldn't have been.
Here we see it here. So, I mean, it was one of those things he didn't desperately try to keep it in, and he probably was willing to let the ball run out of bounds, but you've got to deliberately take it out of bounds, and I don't think that was one such occasion.
(45-26). Back to 19 points in favour of Carlton. Lovett. And the one Lovett in action today with Glenn out with a broken hand. Manton. Son of factor for Clappe trying to mark. Lovett is there with him. Will he go off the ground? No. Paddles it back to his own advantage. Camporelli. Steins nearly. Madden's there. Hogg puts his body in. Kudafiti's the hand pass. Spalding goes at goal. That looks pretty good. He's kicked his third. Well, up until today, Earl Spalding had kicked 3-6. He's now kicked 3 straight. Carlton 8-3, Melbourne 4-2.
Well, very costly couple of goals for Melbourne. I mean, they were sort of working their way back into the game in that sort of general play situation, even though they were a couple of goals behind. But now all of a sudden, Carlton have opened up the 4-goal margin. So this is a critical period for Melbourne to really keep their chances alive, even this early in the game.
.25-point lead to the Blues. Madden. Down to Ratton, to Bradley. And Madden gets his hand on the ball. They have all their midfield players very close to him, so they can feed the ball out to one another. Down to Kernhan, inside 50. Can't pick the ball up. Tried to find Heaver, copped a heavy bump. And now he'll get 50. And that was silly. Cow very upset, maybe suffering from mad cow disease.
You wrote that down and rehearsed it.
No, I didn't. I just thought of it then. And there he is, still having a go. But it was silly play, and it's cost him a goal.
The umpire's not going to change his decision. Not much point in arguing.
Not much point in pushing to the ground, Lee, is there?
No, it was really a pretty silly action. I mean, he already had the free kick, Heaver, from whether it was a good free kick or a lucky free kick, it didn't really matter. He had the free kick, and sort of reacting with that undisciplined manner, well, that obviously doesn't help Melbourne at all and gives away a certain goal. Something, and don't be surprised if Darren Cowell was maybe a little burst off the ground, just to remind him of that fact. I think maybe at the moment it's time to think about whether David Neate should go back to centre-half forward. Earl Spalding's kicked 3 goals, so he's doing well on that contest, and just I think Melbourne just aren't getting enough through the half-forward line, and just maybe that's one move that has to be thought about.
So another silly free kick and 50-metre penalty, costly for Melbourne. That's 2 that have cost them goals, and they've had a couple of free kicks also go against them in Carlton's forward line. It's Madden this time from the centre circle. Good on you, Harry. Up the half forward. The Blues again. Bradley from Clappe. Kernhan has kicked 2. And Ingerson couldn't do too much about that. Kernhan 2 little toe pokes in the first quarter for goal, so he's working close to the scoring area. And you couldn't see Sticks missing that one. Or we'll say this one. He hasn't kicked it yet. Spalding has kicked 3. Kernahan can equal him if he kicks this. Low trajectory drop punt. Sails through just over the goal umpire's head for full points. So the Blues stamp their authority on this match in no uncertain terms. They go to 10-3, leading Melbourne 4-2.
And Matt Clappe is about to get about his 3rd or 4th opponent already. Playing half-forward flank, had 14 possessions to the early to halfway through the second quarter. He's been a fantastic player and set that goal up. Again, we see it quite often at the centre bounces. Justin Madden will get that quick kick when the ball drops free, and that initiated the forward thrust.
It was a great kick also by Bradley. He could see Kernahan going backwards, and it was just a wonderfully weighted kick. Madden on the second tap. Sampson hit hard, driven into the ground, takes the free kick for the Demons. And some Bronx cheers for the umpire too. I don't think they're getting a good go.
Carlton have got a lot of frees in their forward line. It's the old story, Kev. It's not how many, but where you get them, isn't it?
So Sampson just kicks a high ball once more. They've done that a lot, Melbourne, just sort of bomb the ball into their forward line. You need some good high marking forwards to do that. Manton back to Koutafidis. Nearly plucked it out of the air. Clarkson at ground level, gives it across to Cow. With pace, the kick's a poor one. Just whistles it along, terra firma. Here's Ange Christou. Picks up. Does well to hook the ball back. Running with the flight was Bradley.
How often do we see Ange Christou heading to the boundary line on his left foot? He's got a great ability to curl the ball back and still kick the ball. What was probably a 50-metre kick across his body or over his right shoulder.
You might call it the Christou helicopter kick. And the ball is just punched straight back, and we have another boundary throw in.
So the stats there for the free kicks, 12-7 in favour of Carlton, but it's not how many that's hurt the D's, it's where Carlton have got them.
Rowan Welsh on the bench there along with Craig Davenport.
Play on, says the umpire. Madden does. Sampson in and out of the pack. Finally got a little toe poke away. Diulio, he was caught with a footy, or it was jarred free in the tackle. Is that in the back against Manton? The umpire says no. So another bounce by Kieran Nichols. Still not at the halfway mark of the second quarter. A throw up, actually. Viney, dispossessed. Pretty rough and tough in the clinches. Comes out to Seacamp. Seacamp from Spalding. Now Neitz. Neitz from midfield. Over the head of Harry Madden, if that's possible. Viney takes the hand pass from Turley into Sean Smith. Great mark again. Now he kicked one from an angle before, but this one is a little bit more acute. Getting on with it pretty quickly. Well, Frey didn't have a shot at goal there. Was looking for Steins. Farmer. Still he goes. Farmer looks for the free kick. Must get one. I wonder if your hand pass over the top into the goal square. Gary Lyon's not there today. Remember that from last year. Caught Gary a little bit by surprise. But no questioning that decision. The angle, the problem for him. Only a rookie. Kicks. Judging by the silence behind the goals, he's got it. He has. So a valuable one for Melbourne. 10-3 to 5-2 now. The difference back to 31 points.
Yeah, that was a good effort by Farmer. I mean, he's obviously very young, but he's got a lot to learn in his football, but he is very quick, and this was a great sort of example of second effort to keep at the ball at ground level, kept his eye on the ball in the middle of the pack, and really his pace to be able to burst away is why the Collingwood guys were grappling to try and keep up with him. So it was a great effort.
In his second year of league football for young Farmer, Campbell in Western Australia as Hogg takes the ball out of the centre square. Kernahan in front of Ingerson, wants to tap it back towards Williams. Bit of cat and mouse on the boundary line. He still keeps the ball in play. Love it. Hand passes to Hopgood. He's got pace, Hopgood, gets it across the Steins. It's like a giant ruck rover. Back to Lovett. Kicks the ball out wide and finds Viney. So Viney goes over the top. The hand pass was poor, didn't hit its target, but Turley had plenty of time, nearly ran down, and Smith takes the mark. Nearly died a few years ago with a ruptured liver. Sean Smith, his comeback has been remarkable and will always be remembered for the mark of the century.
Yes, he can take a grab, can't he? Reminds me of Gary Baker, used to play for North Melbourne. But that same
Phil Baker.
Yes, Phil Baker. Phil Baker.
Smith from 40 metres out. It's on a 45-degree angle. He's missed.
Yes, we know Smith can launch himself in the air for those big marks, but it's the standard good full forward play today. He's playing the front position and making and presenting himself leading away for Silvani, and just giving Silvani a little bit of trouble if the Melbourne players clear up the field to deliver.
Halfway through the second quarter, 5 goals the difference. Koutafidis. Too good for Feedy. Kouta's left the ground already a couple of times with the blood rule, or because of the blood rule. Clappe, as Lee said, he's been more than nuisance value for Melbourne. Neats. Oh, yes, would you pay it? No, umpire hasn't paid it. Terrific attempt to mark. Kernahan holding the ball. No, it's not, because he called play on. Williams. Demon fans howling for holding the ball. Beaumont nearly. Centering kick from him, and pinpoint accuracy finds Heaver. Playing against his old side today. He already has a goal on the board, kicked in the first quarter. In fact, he's kicked 2 goals. Brent Heaver to kick from about 50 metres. Pretty long run up. Dennis Lilly would have been proud of that run up. Still he comes. And that has drifted away, I think, for 1 behind. Kicked by Brent Heaver. 2 goals, 1 against his name. Extends the difference to 31 points. 64 to 33. Under 9 minutes left in the term, and Ingerson takes the mark at half back. Running his full distance is Hopgood. Knock on by Nettlebeck. Oh, Koutafidis is taken down by Viney. Was that too high? Umpire says throw it in.
Oh, I think it was a pretty good bump, Lee.
I'm sure it was high, but it was a good bump. I mean, there was nothing illegal about it.
Madden in the ruck once more, peeling for the free kick, and he's got it. A pretty handy player today, Big Harry. Kicks up towards Spalding. Beaumont at ground level. And Koutafidis. Well, he might have a few cobwebs, but he still got his wits about him. Still points to the position where he wants to kick it from. Kicks one high. Silvani takes a fantastic mark at centre-half forward. Just pops it up in the air. Difficult for Hogg. Smith had came down. That's why Silvani was there. Followed his man down. Williams with a quick snap, and he's kicked the goal.
Been a quiet day for Williams so far, but he's got a goal and his second kick.
Yeah, second kick for the game. If he decides to join in the party, well, Melbourne are in real trouble because they're 6 goals behind, and Williams just really hasn't been in the game. That was a situation of Silvani trying to put the pressure back on Smith by running upfield, and was rewarded for it. And of course, Smith then got his hands on the ball, a long way from their starting positions.
So it's one-way traffic. 70 plays 33 at the Optus Oval. Koutafidis, Obst. Andrew Obst not able to get into the play today. Seacamp comes at him now. Diulvio kicks the half forward. Williams again. If he hits a purple patch, as Lee suggested, well, these are going to be in real trouble. Lovett away from Hogg this time. Kernahan, good tackle sticks. Cow and he's been rewarded.
It's a good rule, Lee, because prior to this year, that would have been play on because the ball was knocked out of his hand, and Kernahan's terrific tackle wouldn't have been rewarded.
That's right. As long as the umpire gives the player with the ball an opportunity to get rid of it. And Lovett had, 3 or 4 steps. He had ample opportunity, but chose not to and was run down from behind. So, yes, I think it's a clear-cut rule when interpreted in that manner.
3 to Kernahan already. 2 in the first quarter, 1 so far in the second. That hasn't deviated a millimetre. He's got 4. The Blues are bolting. (4-1) to the Carlton captain, 76 to 33, and the difference is blown out to 43 points.
It's become a big lead now. That was a beautiful kick there by Steve Kernahan. I mean, it's certainly got the reward for laying the tackle. He does tend to kick a lot of what we would term scungy, wobbly kicks, but that was a beautiful, lovely, correct spinning drop punt with a good long straight kick.
So the lead extends to 43 points. Viney working hard in the pack to Seacamp on Melbourne's half-forward line. Sexton tackles Nettlebeck and is rewarded. Tremendous defender for the Blues, Sexton. He's finished as high as second in the Blues best and fairest across the Ratton on the B and F last year in a premiership year at ground level. Sampson's got 2 to beat. Camperelli caught high. A little bit of feeling in this game so far with players niggling one another. Camperelli kicks long into Kernahan territory and he's got it. Second grab, no, not paid. Spalding, he's kicked 3. Quick snap. He's kicked 4. No, he's hit the post.
Well, you look out of the wing closest to the cameras and Koutafis is playing on Matthew Phoebe's about 5 inches taller and probably just as quick and agile. It almost looks unfair, doesn't it?
He is pretty quick. So is this guy, Darren Cowell. Probably be the fastest in the Melbourne side. Certainly be in the top 2 or 3. They've got a foot race here. And coming back on there is Welsh, who's running with Jim Steins. Good to see him back. Jim's got this one away. Back to Cowell. The Blues with the numbers. Farmer. Good skills by the youngster. Diulio's in the road. Too hot. Is that high on Manton? I think so. In front of the George Harris stand, you wouldn't expect it to go any other way. Christie. Well, the Blues are playing with them, aren't they now? Demons must get a couple of quick goals. Maybe Cowell can give it to them. Oh, 2 Melbourne players down. Silvani will be able to mop up without too many problems. Brushes Farmer. Onto Beaumont. Christou decides to go for a run. 2 bounces. Whitehead. Kicks down towards half forward. Kernahan has to punch from the back. Williams finished up on the bottom. Andrew Obst missed on ground last week. Has been a little bit quiet today. Grant takes the mark at midfield.
He's got a loose player in Turley wide. Now Turley can run inside 50. He can have a long shot at goal. And the experienced Turley pops it through. Great play.
Well, I would say that was a desperately needed goal as an understatement. Just this last 10 minutes, Carlton have just completely taken control of the game. So, again, it's just a big lead. Melbourne just have to work to just get it back a goal or 2 at a time without Carlton scoring, and that's the problem. I mean, Carlton just look too capable of scoring too many goals too quickly. 12 goals before the end of half time is just an example of that.
Craig Turley on screen, 1991, a fantastic year for him. Runner-up in the Brownlow medal, won the Eagles best and fairest, All-Australian. Just things have gone a bit wonky in the last few years, but trying to rebuild it here with Melbourne. Jimmy Steins this time just hands the ball back to the umpire. He's already had one 50-metre penalty against him today. Clappe has been a great player for Carlton. Ratton, short kick, Camperelli. Now Williams can run onto the ball. He's against Lovett. Neither has great pace, but Williams has quick mind. Gives the ball back. It finishes in the arms of Camporelli, centres the ball. Turley pushes out his opponent, and Hogg will take the free kick.
Well, they both looked as though they were going for the ball. What did you think, Barney?
Well, I'd like to watch the replay, but my first instinct, it wasn't a free kick. I thought he basically just was body use. I mean, he held his ground. I mean, I think he just caught Hogg off balance, basically, and therefore he kind of went sprawling. But I wouldn't have thought that's the kind of contact that is illegal from Turley's point of view.
I think we can put that one down as a lucky free kick to Carlton. Started his career at Essendon, Matthew Hogg, playing in the under-19s and went across to Footscray. Now a premiership player with Carlton. Broke into the side late last year, just in time to play in the finals. And he's kicked it.
Well, things falling into place nicely for the Blues. A lucky free kick. Hogg's goal, 13-5 to 6-3. And things are needing to happen for Melbourne very quickly. Let's watch it again. High kick. They both had their eyes on the ball.
And Matthew Hogg actually playing the role that Fraser Brown, out injured today, often plays, playing in the forward line, changing with Greg Williams on the ball, and is a pretty valuable player in either role.
3 minutes left before half-time. It's been a quarter that Carlton have split the game wide open, and Steins has hit out. Kudafiti's tackle. Williams kick. Hogg a flip on. Seacamp. High kick towards centre wing. Mark is taken by Alistair Clarkson from the North Melbourne. Kicks it back whence it came. Love it. Love it to half forward. Nettlebeck hasn't really been able to get into the play. Manton almost dragged off it when he didn't have it. Still he goes. Williams on to Sexton. Odds giving chase. Sexton too quick. Up to half forward. Hopgood. Kernahan will go off the ground. Well played by Sticks. Heaver still in play. Spalding, will he go off the ground? No, he won't. Neats make sure he's over the line with the footy.
I think it was Anthony Ingerson again. It was similar to what he did over this other side. He thought the ball was going out of bounds. That time he didn't have it in his hands, so he just was going to watch it go over. But pretty lackadaisical play, not something you'd want to be happening.
Steins, Kernahan. Seacamp trips himself up. Well, it's out of bounds. It's deliberate. Well, it had to be deliberate because he wanted to rush it behind. Some idiot throws a can over the fence.
Don't know if you're trying to hit it through from behind and you miss the behinds. How can that be deliberate out of bounds? He's trying to hit it through from behind. Think
fair
about
point,
that one.
Fair point, fair point. And the kick is a goal. So Heaver has kicked his third. 3 goals, 1. Carlton bolt to 14-5 to Melbourne 6-3.
I suppose, Lee, you're deliberately taking the ball out of the playing field by wanting to knock it through for a point, and if you make a mistake and not hitting in the area the points are in, therefore it's deliberately out of bounds. That's why I think he's...
We've spoken about that over the weeks, where players will try to concede the behind if they're in real pressure on the goal line, and what would happen if they miss the behinds and it goes out of bounds.
Now we know.
We've now seen it. Yes.
So a 50-point lead to the Blues. Just under 2 minutes of action. Ratton, another quick kick out of that centre square. Hopgood traps it at half back. Heaver the tackler. Turley taps the ball on for the Demons. Camporelli with quick hands to Beaumont out wide to Clappe. This is his 16th possession.
I think he's bought his own football.
He's also kicked a goal. A real success story coming across from the Eagles last year. So this kick is off target. Kernahan shields his son from the eyes and takes a mark. And finds young Beaumont.
I think someone's have to go to get to Ingerson and say never concede and never assume. He's a couple of times he's assumed the ball's going to go out of bounds. I think he assumed it was going to go out of bounds then, and And 3 times he's been found out by making those false assumptions.
Beaumont played a couple of games last year, originally from the under-18s, and got a chance here today to kick a goal, and he does.
So 8 Carlton players have now kicked goals, and with less than a minute to go before half-time, the Blues could be in line for a record score here. 15-5-95, Melbourne 6-3-39.
It's fantastic conversion too, isn't it? I mean, it's a still day. There's not much wind to concern themselves with, but 15 goals, 5 from those, from 20 scoring shots is fantastic, accurate conversion.
Melbourne runner having a few words to Anthony Ingerson, probably along the lines that you suggested, Barney. So less than a minute before half-time, and the Blues with the match well and truly in their keeping, even at this stage. Koutoufides kicks to Kernahan territory. Six tries to get back. Cowell's too quick though. He'll give it over to Neitz. No, he won't. He goes a little bit further around the boundary line, and he finds David Grant. Grant at right half back. Melbourne getting a nice old shellacking in the second quarter. 3 Carlton players there, tackled by Phoebe, ineffective. Down goes Beaumont. They might be able to run it away. Steins gives away the hand pass, finishes up with Todd Viney. Viney's kicked down towards right half forward. Manton, who started off brilliantly in the first quarter, marks over Nettlebeck. On to Bradley. Craig Bradley, left half back flank. Bradley's kick up towards midfield. Oh, Beaumont too high. Should take a free kick. And he will, or he could, but the siren's there to stop him. And at half-time, Carlton, and you would think that would be a match-winning lead. The Blues leading 15-5-95 to 6-3-39. Carlton leading by 56 points after a record-equalling second quarter. They kicked 9 goals, 2 against Melbourne, equalling what they did back in 1981 in round 17 here at Princes Park. So it's one-way traffic. Demons desperately need something to happen early in the third quarter if they're to have any chance in this match. Farmer, nice sidestep. Koutoufides almost got him. Cowell kicks down towards half forward. Welsh tries to punch from behind. Nettlebeck tries to tap it on. He's been pretty quiet so far today. Uze went without the footy. Welsh, great to see him back playing his first senior game in almost 2 seasons. Cowell, outside 50. Turley, right on the boundary line. Almost an impossible shot, you'd think, from there. And he has put it through for just one behind. 1-1 to Craig Turley. 95-40, so the difference back to 55 points. Hogg at right half back.
And he's got a loose Williams on centre wing. Pretty quiet first half by the Diesel. Goes short, Spalding's the target. He's booted 3. Seacamp caught high. Marcus Seacamp from half-back for the Demons. Steins versus Madden. Nettlebeck from behind. Koutoufides at ground level. Phoebe. Screws it back. Great vision towards Steins. It was a wonderful kick by Phoebe. Ten possessions to Steins, finds Viney, who pumps the ball long. And Neitz has been moved to the forward line, which is a very good move.
I think you suggested it a few times, Barney. Maybe you should try coaching.
They've actually shifted him to the full forward line. He's playing basically as a dual full forward with Smith to start the quarter, and Nettlebeck still centre half forward. In fact, Michael Sexton's gone off, and Rowan Welsh is now playing centre half back for Carlton.
So Neitz from right on 50, the kicks off line. At least he does give them some marking power up there, Lee.
Yep. But they're in that part of the ground. They haven't looked too bad because Sean Smith has given them a target. It's the half
on a lead.
On the lead, true, but I thought it's the half forward line where they just haven't. They've sort of needed the marking power even more.
11 possessions to Manton. Whitehead went without it. Over to Ratton. Reigning best and fairest at Carlton. Beaumont and Cowell, and that's out of bounds on centre wing. The D's, of course, won their first match for the year last week against St Kilda here at this ground in heavier conditions than we're experiencing today, and you sort of wonder whether that took a little bit out of their legs. Hogg. Heaver, he's been good so far. The two blondes. That's Hopgood, and that's holding the ball. Brent Heaver, former Demon, kicks inside 50. Christo on the burst. High hand pass for Hogg. Should kick this. Oh, he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. He was already going back to the centre. He kicked it straight into the George Harris stand. So Matthew Hogg will forget that one, as well he should. Phoebe with the free kick. The two Giants. Madden has it knocked away by Steins. Clappe hits the deck. He was brilliant in the first half. Down goes Bradley. Todd Viney giving him a little bit of a shove. And it's going to be a ball up. 60 metres from Carlton's goal.
95 plays 40. The Blues in front. Madden wins the tap. Love it. Quick hands to Seacamp. Gets the ball back to Phoebe. To Turley. To Tingay. So Melbourne with a bit of run out of defence. Tingay inside 50. Neitz is the target. Gets Manton under the ball, who's been outstanding. Neitz, quick kick into the forward line. Silvani read it well. He's got support in Christou, who's going to kick wide to Camporelli, who's loose. So he can carry the ball. Kicks the space. Didn't really favour Spalding. And Lamprell forces the ball over for a boundary throw-in. Lamprell started on the interchange bench. And wins a tap. And Williams on hands and knees. Viney. So the Diesel there just wiping his brow. 9 possessions today, 4 kicks and 5 handballs for the Diesel.
Levitt's done a pretty good job. Seacamp can't get rid of it. Steins goes to ground. Socked away by Ratton. It's a foot race. Heaver might have almost given away a free kick. Koutoufides 30 metres out, runs in a goal and kicks it. So the Blues continue on their merry way. Anthony Koutoufides kicking his first. The 9th Carlton player to goal today. 9 out of 16. 16-5, 101. Melbourne 6-4-40. The difference 10 goals.
Just think of the great advantage. Anthony Koutoufides and Ange Christo. They're very quick players, but they've also got the height, key position height. And Christo's playing on Farmer for Melbourne, and Maxim for pace, and then sort of running away with the ball. And Koutoufides have seen very valuable players.
A couple of heavy knocks today also to Koutoufides, off the ground a couple of times. Got a pretty heavy bump also from Viney. Turley couldn't take control. Camporelli does. Just wobbles the ball back towards the half-forward line. Lamprell has got the job now on Earl Spalding. Kicks the space, looking for Phoebe. Should get support from Tingay. Didn't get it. The free kick was given away by Bradley. Thought Tingay could have shepherded Phoebe. Turley loose on half forward to Ops. That's better play by the Demons. Veteran of the Melbourne side, 31 years of age. The Demons missing Gary Lyon in front of goals, and also the marking power of Schwartz. Stephen Phoebe's out. Glenn Lovett's out. Sean Charles. So the Demons have been undermanned for most of this season so far. Ops kick hits the post.
He's been much quieter than last week against St Kilda. 2-5 now for him, or 3-4. 7 possessions. Nice round figure, 60 points or 10 goals. This is Beaumont, only a rookie. Not a long kick. Viney. Uze over the head of Whitehead, down to Nettlebeck, who's been quiet. Kicked 4 good goals last week against St Kilda. Hasn't been able to reproduce that form. And Andrew Obst, a case of being in the right place at the right time. They all took off around him, and he stayed his ground at the back of the pack to take the mark. Good judgment. A little bit closer in than that kick just moments back. Now that looks good. He's goal. So 9 goals the difference now in favour of Carlton. Andrew Obst kicking his first at 16-5 to 7-5.
In the case of Ron DeLulio being third man up to spoil, but wasn't able to spoil. Let the ball come over the back. Sort of poor judgment in that regard, and Obst really was just minding his own business at the back of the pack, and it's fallen into his arms. So really it's just trying to reduce the margin now for Melbourne. No chance they can win the game, but it's a question of playing it out so that they don't get absolutely thrashed.
Craig Davenport, the ex-Saint, on the boundary line. Madden versus Steins.
It's been a good battle, Kev, hasn't it?
It has. Madden has been getting his hand to the ball at these centre bounces, but not this time, where Steins used his body well. Madden just tunnel balled it back to Koutafidis. He's a fantastic player, Koutafidis, to DeLulio. Down to the half-forward line, and Camberelli going to make that clap. He read it well. It's been unstoppable across half-forward. So he kicks long, Kernahan's the target, backing back. Lands in the arms of Earl Spalding, who kicks his 4th goal. Ingerson just going to ground at that critical moment.
Well, if you guys are both coached, and if something like that happened, you'd pull your hair out, Kev, wouldn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate. The 2 Melbourne defenders both were in the marking contest. Stephen Kernahan was giving him the target, and of course Spalding was able to effectively be the ground level crummer.
I love being the straight man. 13 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. We're back to 10 goals the difference. Clappe again. This guy's been pretty good, despite going off the ground twice. Ingerson punches from Kernahan. Cowell's got the speed. He needed a Melways there to get out of some pretty heavy traffic, and he did so. Phoebe takes the mark. Back to Turley. Kicked off a little bit short into the arms of Jimmy Steins. They go forward again. Kicked by Seacamp. Neats overran it. Maybe they can get a goal here. Nettlebeck goes at goal, and he's kicked. So his first. He kicked 4, as I mentioned last week. He's been a lot quieter today, but he's got a few teammates we could put into the same category. 17-5 to 8-5.
Well, the contest element of the game tends to have really disappeared. It's now very much a game of keepings off, and both sides are really scoring fairly freely. It just happens that Carlton are just obviously a long way in front of a 60-point margin. But Melbourne, really the game as a contest has become a game of keepings off.
Nettlebeck is also trying to re-establish his career. Just 3 games in the past 2 years. He was on the Fremantle list last year, but didn't play a senior game. And David Grant appealing for the free kick, not given.
I suppose he's almost in the same category, Grant, isn't he, Kev? Trying to re-establish a senior career.
Nearly 200, just under 200 games for St Kilda. Madden towards Camperelli, Tingay at the bottom of the pack. And that seems a fairly harsh one. If you deliberately go to ground and don't make any attempt to knock it out, you ping, but 2 or 3 guys around, it was maybe a bit difficult for him to keep his footing. Let's have a look at it here, Lee.
Yes, extremely tough call, I would think. Melbourne supporters have thought that umpire Harvey's been playing a lot of them today.
So Carlton with another chance to score, just 45 metres out from their goal. Madden on hands and knees, and he's still 6 foot tall. Gets the ball back to Clappe. Quick kick into the goal square. It's bouncing. He's taller than most people on his hands and knees, Justin Madden.
Yes, he is. He does, but it's amazing how many ground level possessions he scrubs around and gets in later in his career. Those quick kicks from the middle of packs or quick hand passes.
Love it. Kicks in. There's Harry Madden, 315 games. He's a marvel. This is Hopgood. Right on the boundary line, in the right back pocket. Clappe in front. Oh, then he got up to take the grab as well. And it's out of bounds. About 70 metres from Carlton's goal. And these two, the duel of the day, certainly. Love it on Williams has been good. But Madden and Steins. And also the odd element of comedy too. Seacamp would have been a good pick-up if he'd been able to affect it. He couldn't. Now the D's will go forward. They need something to happen quickly. Maybe Nettlebeck can give it to them. Too far out to score there. They're kicking a bit to goal. Neats in front. Up one-handed. Turley has a snap. One behind. Kicked by the former West Coast Eagle. 1 goal, 2. He's managed to boot today, 17-6 to 8-6. So it's still 9 goals the difference. Ange Christou takes the mark just up from full-back. Sean Smith will stand the mark. Pass is effective. Ratton on his own. DiIulio, who did have speed, still has. Cowell went up one-handed. Steins and Williams. Well, neither would win a stall gift. Good tackle by Williams. Ball flipped out to the boundary line. Madden and Phoebe. Out of bounds, right in front of the Carlton pennant, which was unfurled for the second time today after going through a similar experience against Collingwood. First time at Optus Oval though this year. Madden, Camporelli, shepherded by Ratton. One-on-one duel in the goal square. Ingerson does well. Tingo started on the bench today. Phoebe Williams. Great intercept by the dual Brownlow medalist. Spears the pass out in front, looking for Clappe, couldn't find him. Lovett chips in for the mark.
He's got the running Jim Steins. He's under pressure now. Hopgood lends assistance. Shrugs off. Now takes a bounce through the centre square. Once more the kick, not really hitting a target, just out in front there of Nettlebeck to Uze. He's kicked 1 goal, started in the forward pocket. Kick off the ground by Nettlebeck, trapped by DiIulio. Taps the ball back along the ground. Happy to see it go over the line. Stephen Kernhan's booted 4 goals for the Blues, so has Earl Sporting, and Brent Heaver with 3 goals. The Blues major goal kickers. The only multiple goal kicker for Melbourne is Sean Smith with 2. Ops keeps the ball in. Grant gets it back to Viney. Short, difficult to kick short to a contest. Bradley on top of the ball. They want hold in the ball and they've got it. Rowan Welsh, I should say, at the bottom of the pack. So Turley has won a lot of the ball, 19 possessions. He's looking for Neats and finds him.
Gee, that had to be pinpoint, it was.
Heaver off for Carlton and Craig Davenport coming on. As David Neats lines up on a pretty acute angle. Just inside 50. And a great kick by David Neats. And that's his first goal for the match after starting the game in defence.
given them a little bit of a target coming up the field in this third quarter now that he's been shifted to the forward line, and had to be a good accurate kick. He basically hooks the ball slightly from right to left across his body, but he judged the angle well enough, and good goal.
David Neitz gets his first goal. Demons come a little bit closer. They're a long way down the tunnel. From the centre once again, they win it out. This time they're kicked by Christou up towards half forward. Therefore tries to punch. Oh, Williams collected high. That was from O'Brien, who's just come onto the ground. Tingay at the back should be able to mop up. Numbers were against him. Attempted smother by Camporelli was partially effective. Hogg gets it back to him. Turley, Cowell, back to Tingay. Tingay's kick towards centre wing. Mark is taken by Smith. Long way from goal as the Demons full forward. Nettlebeck, did he get a push out or did he push? It's a Carlton free kick. It's going to Silvani. On to Bradley. 3 times best and fairest winner. Bradley's kick to centre wing. Devonport, the former Saint, who's also just come onto the ground, makes a contest out of this. Cowell's got him. Umpire lets it go. It will be a boundary throw-in right next to the interchange gates. Hogg picks up his teammate. Scoreboard shows 108 to 60. Cowell dives on it with Hogg. The umpire will ball it up. Carlton kicking a score in the second term that equalled their best against Melbourne. 9-2. Split the game wide open. Steins wins that one. Viney, who's been good, to Seacamp. Seacamp running from centre wing. Good long kick. Up towards full forward. Neitz moved to full forward. Maybe Smith's been moved out, has he, Barney? He was certainly seeing Neitz on Silvani anyway at the moment.
I think he led right up the ground. The disposal before the forward thrust before Smith, and when they're asking him to work a little further up the ground and leave Neitz a little bit more alone around that goal square area.
Will Smith with that kick virtually on centre wing, but back with Neitz. He's directly in front, 35 metres out, goes at goal and kicks it. So 2 goals this quarter. 2 goals for David Neitz in the third term, and the Demons adding some respectability to their total. They come up to 10-6. They trail by 7 goals after it was out to 10 earlier in this term.
Yes, well, they've kicked the last 3 goals, and they are sort of playing the game out. The game's really lost a lot of its intensity as the lead, large lead, was developed by Carlton. But Melbourne in this last 5 minutes have got the ball forward. It's amazing if you've got someone in the forward line who gives you a focus, how much more direct the players upfield become.
Melbourne trailed by 42 points. They trailed by 56 at half-time. Madden, first touch of the ball. Clappe, first kick. Out of that centre square to Davenport, off the interchange bench.
Of course, they're not really out of it. I mean, remember that Brisbane Bears against Hawthorn last year?
That's right. 8 goals down.
Want to back him?
No. Lee's not very confident. Ratton applies the tackle. Jimmy Steins playing his 200th consecutive game.
The thing that has happened, Melbourne look much more likely to be able to score now, don't they?
Yeah.
Question is, given the lead that Carlton have got, can they stop Carlton from scoring sufficiently to get back in the game?
So a chance for young Beaumont. Oh. Lample's caught. Lample's now got the task of minding Earl Spalding. Spalding kicked 3 goals in the first term. He's also kicked a goal in this third term as Turley goes up over the back of the pack. Great grab. So Melbourne has certainly gone up a cog, no doubt about that. Looking for Nettlebeck, pushed out by Welsh. Viney, tough and durable, gets the ball out. Chance for Obst. Couldn't find his target there in Sean Smith. It's on 50. And Demon supporters starting to come alive at Optus Oval.
I think that bit of desperate play from Darren O'Brien just then, he basically sort of went harder at the ball than two Carlton players. All it did was draw the ball up, and it's that kind of extra desperation that Melbourne need to start showing.
Madden gets front position from Nettlebeck. Ball's jarred free. Tingay goes in. Obst. O'Brien. Hand pass a little bit hot for him, so he goes again. Obst. O'Brien knocks it on. Viney. Obst again. Tingay, they're working it around, not getting it very far. Up towards Neat, you'll get a free kick. So it's been a good move, moving him in front of goals. Certainly if he kicks this, it'll be an even better move. And umpire Grant Vernon just explaining to Silvani, I don't think you could argue with that one.
I always feel Silvani in normal circumstances really treads the fine line between illegal and illegal kind of grappling and body contact.
He used to do it more a few years ago, didn't he, Barney?
That was one occasion where it was probably just fairly obvious, and the umpire made probably a correct decision.
Since the three umpires came in, not too many fullbacks can really cling and do all that sort of stuff. I think he might have missed that one. He has. That would have been handy. So 2 goals, 1 to David Neitz. But if you can bend the rules, do it. I mean, they changed the rules for you, KB, didn't they? Bouncing the ball.
Yes, I understood the rule perfectly well, but not too many other people seem to understand it.
I think Darryl Baldock was a great exponent of that as well.
I think that fine line of the marking or what you can do when you're trying to spoil of bodywork's a very grey area, I think, and very much open for interpretation.
So ends Christo to kick in, and we've got 3 minutes left in the third term.
And he goes straight up the centre of the ground to his mate and Koutafidis. Nearly took the grab, just couldn't hang on to the Sharon. Bradley in the centre square. Steins working hard. Caught there was Beaumont. Caught high is the call. Feeds it off straight away to Koutafidis. Been a great contributor out towards Kernahan. Led his man under the ball. He tries to kick it off the ground. And in the back, has been paid to Lamb. Let's see, that's Ingerson against Matt Clappe. You see Clappe get right into the back here of Ingerson. Steins the target out wide, does well with the sun in his eyes. Grant's gone up, he's taken the mark, but it hasn't been paid. No argument from Grant. Ratton in close. Love it over the top of the ball. Quick hands back to Steins, who can feed the ball off here to Phoebe. Kicks to the half forward line, Farmer. Too small against Ange Christou. 50, and Neitz has given away 50.
It's different, isn't it? Farmer probably isn't even that much quicker than Christo, and Christo's so much taller. It's that contest has been a very good one for Carlton. Really is a very, very good player, Christo.
Now they're taking the ball off Ange Christou because Silvani crashed into
Don't think they know where to take it.
Andrew Opst.
Yes, Optus is going to get the kick.
So they're going to take it back and give it to Farmer, but it was against Silvani, who crashed into Andrew Opps. So the free kick has been reversed.
So can the D's make something of it now? Steins from left centre wing goes long up towards full forward, and he's found his man in Nettlebeck. So good commitment by Melbourne to come back after they trailed by, was it 56 points at half time. And certainly, well, they haven't made it a contest yet, have they? But they've been a lot more competitive. 55 seconds remaining in the quarter, and a goal here by Nettlebeck would be MTH, more than hand. Distance shouldn't be a problem. He'll be kicking from about 45, so he should get that, which he does. And he's got the accuracy. No, he hasn't. He's hit the post. Well, that one really would have been absolutely sensational for Melbourne to get it 1 goal, 1 to Craig Nettlebeck. 2 posters today. First score of the match was a poster. Hit right on the top of it. So as the clock ticks down, we've got half a minute to go to three-quarter time. Kudafiti's the climb. Turley pressured. Ball out of bounds. In front of the clock, which is minuscule by any comparison. Shows 28 minutes have elapsed, and we've got just on 20 seconds left in the term.
It's been a good third term by the Demons. The move of Neitz to the forward line has certainly boosted their scoring power. He's booted 2 goals this quarter. They just seem to be a bit more potent up forward now with the classed act of Neitz up there. So can Melbourne score in these dying seconds? Smith falls on top of the ball. So at three-quarter time, Carlton leads 17 goals, 6, 108. Melbourne 10-8, 68.
Well, 40 points the difference. I mean, it's not impossible, is it really, that they could get up, but they're certainly, they're in a competitive position now.
I would have thought 15 minutes ago it would have been impossible. I agree with you now. It's not completely and utterly out of the question. I mean, they really dominated the last 15 minutes of that quarter. Whether Melbourne can keep going with that same intensity for another 30 minutes and overtake Carlton's still a big ask with a 7-goal deficit. But they certainly started to control the game once Neitz gave them a target. And I think they just started to win the ball around the midfield area of the ground and started to sort of get in top in that part of the ground. But it was a good effort no matter what, because they were out for the count at half-time. It really looked like how far Carlton were going to go on and win by, and Melbourne have at least really made the game on the ground a contest, albeit that the scoreboard has still got a big margin showing.
4-5 to 2-1. Melbourne outscored Carlton in that term. The difference is still 40 points at Optus Oval. The final quarter coming up short. Well, the D's outscored Carlton 4-5 to 2-1 in the third quarter. Can they keep it going? They're still trailed by 40 points. Final term from Optus Oval. Carlton having a record-equalling second term against Melbourne. They kicked 9 goals to Madden. Again with that little kick out of the centre. She's so good at doing. Murphy. Turley ridden into the ground. Caught by that same player. Hopgood from left centre wing drives the D's forward. Up towards Nettlebeck. Silvani sees the ball safely over the boundary line. It will be thrown in 50 metres from the Melbourne goal.
Silvani's been pushed up the ground to stay with Smith, and Manton's now back on Neitz.
Neitz did well in the third quarter when being moved to the key forward post. It gave Melbourne something. Farmer. Collared from behind. Ratton. Obst. Now Melbourne, can they get a goal? They want one. And they've got one. Nettlebeck. Yes, he's got kicked 4 last week. He's kicked his second today. And most important that Melbourne get the first one of the final quarter. You'd have to say, statistically, numerically, they are still in the match. 17-6 to 11-8.
Well, I think Carlton really need to get the goal to stem the flow, because it's just been all Melbourne's way the last 15 or 20 minutes of the game. It's a desperate situation, I think, just to stop that from Carlton's point of view.
Melbourne within 34 points. They trailed by 56 at half-time. Madden got his hands to the ball. He's done that very well all day. Beaumont off the grounder. Bradley taps the ball along, looking for Spalding. Murphy on 50. This is a great kick. He's kicked a goal. Just the reply the Blues wanted.
Yes, it was. It's so critical. I was just alluding to the fact that when you're a long way in front and all of a sudden the opposition start coming at you, it's sort of there can be a little bit of a panicky situation, because you've basically got the game won and all of a sudden the opposition are within scoring distance. So that's why that goal to stem the flow. But they certainly got it very quickly, Carlton, to go well clear.
Justin Murphy getting the goal. 10 Carlton players have now scored majors here this afternoon. Madden again with that little quick kick. Viney smothered it. Bradley, had it and lost it. Kudafiti's, who's been pretty good despite leaving the ground twice under the blood rule today, kicks towards left half forward and Clappe takes the mark. Clapo's first half particularly brilliant. Of course, Neil Baum, no end of headaches. This is Beaumont. So a goal here would really put the nail in the Melbourne coffin. Simon Beaumont, only a couple of games last year, trying to cement a permanent place in the Carlton side. Difficult in the premiership lineup. Should get the distance. We'll wait on the accuracy. Oh, he's drawn it around. Low trajectory kick. Devonport, close to goal. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, that's it. He's just on the ground. And the former Saint making it 11 Carlton players now to kick goals. 19-6 to 11-8. The Blues get on the accelerator.
Yes, well, that was Stephen Kernan, I think, was probably about to take that mark on the second grab, but opportunism by Craig Davenport to take it out of his hands and kick the goal. As you said, has probably put Carlton well enough clear to win the game quite well.
Bradley, and on the bottom of the pack we see Tingay there along with Matthew Hogg. So Melbourne now having to fight once more, stay in touch with the Blues. Both ruckmen appealing for the free kick. Madden breaks wide to Koutafidis. It's his 16th possession. In front of Kernahan, and has he hurt his hamstring? He's gone. Bad news for the Blues.
He was been out with a 1 week. He's missed 1 week with a hamstring. He'll be 2 or 3 weeks with this one.
He's going to come straight off.
Very heavy patch of ground there at Optus Oval on this half-forward flank. See from the broadcasting box the softness of the ground, and Kernahan went down in that. So that is a blow to the Blues. Phoebe from the edge of the square kicks down towards centre half forward. Christou with a fly of the ball. Smith's booted 2 for Melbourne. Couldn't take control. Diulio on hands and knees. Tingay with a chance. Paddles the ball along in the centre square and has been held. Just the 8 possessions, and he finds Jimmy Steins. Yet to kick a goal for the Demons, and we see the skipper on the boundary line.
And the realisation on his face, what's just happened.
So Steins trying to push this one a bit too hard. Neitz was the high flyer. Whitehead been stolen by Phoebe as he thrown the ball. It's been forced through for a behind.
Nothing worse for players at that realism. But I've strained a muscle. It's going to be maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Let's see it here. As you said, a very heavy part of the ground. He just tried to stretch a little bit too much, and in so doing, went the hammy. Christou's kick. Beaumont missed it. Bounce going to be effective here. It's at midfield. Hogg to Beaumont. Beaumont's high kick. Williams in front. Lovett's done a good job on him. Ratton. Quick hand pass. Hogg tries to paddle it to the advantage of Williams. Here's Collin, drops it. Umpire says play on. Cow, Lovett. He's run it out of the fence well. Well, maybe seeing Kernahan go off lifted them a bit. Tingay, Neitz. Neitz overruns it. Farmer, Nettlebeck, long shot. Looks pretty good. One behind only. There's going to be a free kick, is there? No, he's just whistling the player back. One behind. 2 goals, 2 to Craig Nettlebeck. 11-10 to 19-6. 15.5 minutes left in the final quarter of this round 4 clash. Ange Christou is going to boot it in.
Jeff Farmer has just had to go off with under the blood rule, and he's waiting for his replacement player to come back on.
That's going to be Alistair Clarkson. Clarkson going up to the 50-metre line. Now he's going on to Whitehead. No, he's not. He's going further afield. So Christou to kick in, decides to go long. Plenty of distance in that kick. Welsh the target and takes the mark. Great to see him back. But the umpire says no mark. There were 4 hands on it. The other 2 belong to Craig Nettlebeck, and it's going to be no mark. Carlton supporters loud in their disapproval of that decision. The umpire can bounce it in the more solid centre part of the ground, and Welsh answers the call pretty well. Gets the kick down to Beaumont. 2 players really trying to cement their place in this Premiership Carlton lineup. The bouncer factor, Koutafidis, shuffles it sideways to Camporelli. Onto his left foot, booms it in towards goal and kicks it. So the Blues, with the pedal to the metal, 26 to 11-10.
And Anthony Koutafidis has now been pushed into the full forward position once Stephen Kernahan went off the ground, and the replacement player Scott Camporelli received the hand pass. So the interchange, even though it wasn't a deliberate one, has worked well for Carlton.
He's the 11th player to kick a goal too, KB. For Carlton,
yes,
that is.
Yes, they've shared their goal-kicking ability around marvellously well today. Kernahan, of course, off with a hamstring injury. He's booted 4 goals before going down. Murphy kicked a great goal in this last term. Here's another long bomb. Backing back is Ingerson. Goes wide. Finds O'Brien. Started the game on the interchange. His first game for the Demons from Perth. Kicks the ball in short to Viney. Feeds the ball off, but didn't hit his target. It's a problem now for Turley. Has to kick the ball off the ground. Crashing his way through Silvani. Beaumont on hands and knees. He'll force the ball up with Sean Smith. Disappointing when the handball doesn't go in front and the player can run onto the ball. It lands at his feet. Puts him under a lot of pressure. Once more, we've got a ball up right on the front edge of the centre square. And Ratton, the best and fairest winner for last year.
Looks a bit proppy too, doesn't he?
Getting some attention. And Brent Heaver is back onto the ground. He's had a pretty good game. He's booted 3 goals, 1 in the first quarter and 2 goals in the second term. Clarkson for Melbourne. Silvani, well smothered by O'Brien. Kicked off the ground by Hogg. Follows up. Takes the ball over.
Still nobody picking Heaver up. There's not a player within 50 metres of him. I guess Hopgood might be appropriately the one to man up, but Heaver's still on his own. It's at the other end of the ground. A gigantic duel between these 2 giants. Now Tingay. Well, he lost it. Murphy's tried to make every post a winner in the last quarter. Don't try to bounce it out there, son. Sexton had similar problems earlier in the match. I didn't hear what he said, but I don't need a microphone.
Well, Sexton's off the ground as well. We fancy he may have sustained a leg injury as well.
Madden tackled by Nettlebeck. Back to Bradley. Suppose you could put it down to the heaviness of the ground. Whitehead. Devonport, who's kicked a goal. Hopgood, good punch away. Finds Steins. Phoebe tries to find that same player. Marcus Seacamp. Viney. Still he goes. Heaver's got him. Did he hold him too long in the tackle? Umpire lets it go. Love it. Spoons up the hand pass. Phoebe working hard for the D's. Will kick towards centre wing, and Sean Smith gets on his bike after taking the mark. Nearly got tripped up. Still he goes. Whitehead won't catch him. Long kick up towards Neats at full forward. Almost. Manton in front. Manton goes down. Crouch is holding the ball. Harry hits the deck like 7.8 in the Richter scale. Oh dear, oh dear.
So a chance for Melbourne. Madden on his back. Hogg desperate. And the ball goes over for another bouncy.
Still down, Harry.
I think Justin's starting to fancy himself as a ground level player.
Well, he has done some useful work
He's
at
got
ground level today.
A lot of quick possessions in the middle of packs today.
He's had a great duel with Steins. Steins 18 possessions. Madden 15. Whitehead takes it. Caught. Tingay with strength, but he's been pinged. No, he's got the free. Too high.
He got caught like that once before, didn't he? Hauling it in.
Good 75 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Kicks long into Neat's territory. At the back of the pack is Hogg. Been a pretty handy player today, Hogg. 13 possessions. Viney at ground level. Wants to feed the ball off to O'Brien. And Hogg again takes the relieving mark.
Yes, Turley slipped over at the crucial moment there. Always plays a pretty good game, Matthew Hogg. I guess you'd say unspectacular, but I'm sure David Parkin would love a few more like him. Kick from half back. Beaumont was the target. O'Brien chips in to take the mark. Was it Lamprey, was it? Over the head of Steins. He'll get a free kick. The advantage is paid. Heaver, collision course there. Hopgood. Around Heaver. He gets shoved aside. Good pass. Nettlebeck on the end of it. This might test his kicking ability. He's kicked 2 goals, 2 today. With his 9 kicks. Got 4 last week against the Saints. And they were pretty good quality goals. 55 out. Breeze not a factor. Distance certainly will be. And that's an absolute Barry Crocker. Out of bounds on the full. Silvani will take the free kick for Carlton in the left back pocket.
KB, how many times do you think what percentage conversion from the 50-metre line do you think players have in general?
You're saying it's fairly low.
They try and force the kick and make that extra distance, as we saw that time, as Welsh takes the mark on half back. His first game for a couple of seasons, senior game that is. So yes, wretched luck.
Almost a forgotten man of Princes Park, isn't he?
Well, knee problems and broke his leg on an overseas trip. As Clappe, who was outstanding in the first half, has been a wonderful player all day across half forward line. Spalding's his target. Punched away by Ingerson. Love it at ground level to Hopgood. Breaks the tackle. Finds Ops. It's good vision. Not much on offering at that stage. Goes wide looking for Neitz. And Melbourne has certainly looked a far better side with Neitz on the forward line. Just gave him a bit of life and a bit of bounce. No Gary Lyon, no Schwartz. They've really lacked that marking power up forward. Kicked 2 goals in the third term when moved to the forward line, right on 50. It's a long kick. Minor score.
Yes, Melbourne haven't got enough of the Neitz, have they? They have been a little bit shallow in their key defensive position, so they've started him in the game, but in the first half. But then they've got there down in the key forward spots.
Diulio will get a free kick. It's a pretty good kick in from full back. Where he's taking this kick. Right on the edge of the square. Bradley. Uze stands to mark. Devonport on left centre wing. Kick to half forward. Well, they come again. Hopgood gives the hand pass away. Picked up by Ingerson. Ingerson's kick towards half forward. Good mark, Sean Smith. Oh, Sol Clarkson right into trouble. Murphy's got him. Ball dart free. Still they come. Obst. And there he is again. This time the angle might be, well, it's pretty acute. Kicked 2 goals, 2. David Neitz. And they're rather good stats. 5 marks. Kick number 12 for his 3rd goal. coming around pretty well. Started it right, stayed right. 2 goals 3 to David Neitz. 7 minutes left in the match here at Optus Oval. Carlton 20 goals 6. They kicked 9 goals, 2 of that during a record equalling second quarter. Silvani missed it. Camporelli mops up well. Good shepherd provided by Hogg. The kick up towards midfield and a good mark taken by Andrew Lampel, who plays on quickly.
He's got Tingay wide. Drops it, but he's got all the time in the world. He finds Nettlebeck. The goal in the third quarter, 1 in this last term. And he fancies himself lead from outside 50.
No, he's going to be kicking from inside 50.
You reckon? He's got a long run.
He'll kick from about 45 metres.
In he comes. Just inside 50. And I think he's kicked his third. That's a great kick.
3-2 by Craig Nettlebeck.
I repeat my point that when you're kicking the ball from roughly on the 50-metre line, I just think it's an extremely low percentage of the amount of goals you're going to kick. A lot of long behinds are kicked in those circumstances. I mean, this was a 45-metre kick and he kept it on line, but you know, that extra 5 metres to get you back onto the 50-metre line, players have to try and really kick it hard and lose accuracy.
So with 4 goals last week, Peter, and 3 goals this week, Nettlebeck is proven to be a pretty good pickup for the Demons, considering their injury problems.
Yes, and they've got plenty of those. It's a free kick to the D's. It'll be taken by Turley. Turley across the ground. It sits nicely for Lovett. On to Hopgood. Still he goes. Runs his full distance, certainly. Mantle getting back. Good mark. On to Welsh. He was really playing some good footy before he got injured. But a long time between drinks for him. Viney to Clarkson. Back to Viney. On to Steins. Kick away by Grant. Ineffective. Blues working out of defence in numbers as they have done all day. Camporelli. Hogg goes down. Still Camporelli. Ball sits nicely for him at left half forward. One-on-one duel up towards the full forward position. Koutafidis with speed and grace. Just can't quite cap it off. He kicks it behind. Maybe the hand pass could have been on there. 1 goal 1. Kicked by Anthony Koutafidis. 20 goals 7 to 12 goals 12. And we've got just over 5 minutes left in this match.
And Lovett pinpoints Lamprell. Feeds it off to Seacamp. Kicks to 50. Coming out is Neitz once more, sliding along the ground. And the ball up on 50. Man who's been a handy player today. He's had great success with Carlton, playing in a premiership side after being delisted by Essendon. Here's Viney. And he finds Smith. So Sean Smith, he booted 2 goals. That was before half-time. Then playing maybe a secondary role with Neitz moving to full forward. He's shooting from 35 metres out. Tell by his body language he didn't like it.
2 goals 2 to Sean Smith out of the D's tally of 12-13. Still 42 points the difference, and remember they trailed at half-time by 56. A good third quarter by Melbourne added some respectability to their tally, but Carlton's record equalling second term when they kicked 9 goals 2 is certainly going to make the difference here in this match this afternoon. Farmer stands the mark. Hogg has the footy. Kick number 14 for him, onto Heaver. And what he has done has been pretty good, Brent Heaver, against his former club. Whitehead at half-back. well, not the greatest of hand passes. Certainly put his teammate under plenty of pressure. That is just a tad too high. And Matthew Hogg, I don't think you could hurt him with a hammer in each hand. Takes the free kick. Heaver again. Diulio provides a shepherd for him. Spalding, Williams, Clappe, Seacamp. Those two tangle. Umpire says holding the ball. And the advantage is paid. Away goes Devonport. And from equally as close where he kicked his first one, he's kicked number 2. So 21-17 to 12-13. And Seacamp comes up limping from that exchange. Let's hope he's okay, because we have had injuries to a number of players here this afternoon, and the D's list is already pretty long.
It's a big win to Carlton, but it's only 28 scoring shots to 25. Really, their accuracy of making the most of their shots at goal has made, you know, a good win into a really big one, I would think.
Devonport has spent most of the game on the interchange bench. 2 goals in this final term. Christou. Hurried kick back towards Spalding. Viney, who's battled hard all day, to Jimmy Steins. Hand pass is poor once more, didn't reach its target. Lamprell feeds it off to Lovett. He's under pressure, back to Hopgood. Diulio's got 2 to beat. Turley, he's got support out wide from Lovett. Back to Hopgood once more, has come all the way down from half back, loves to run. Neitz is the target, Manton the spoiler. Madden, too tall for both Sean Smith there, but young Farmer with quick snap has hit the post. One goal today, young Farmer in the second term, as Christou sends the Blues back out wide. He's got Manton. That was a great kick. Devonport, ball punched away this time by Hopgood.
Crowd, certainly Carlton supporters in it, looking for out of bounds deliberately, but the umpire says no. So the last couple of minutes of the match, Murphy, Steins, Hogg, Turley, kick away by O'Brien. Nettlebeck got underneath it, couldn't complete the mark. Welsh farms it out. Silvani decides to go for a run, kicks a cross goal in the end. It should be okay. Madden's there. Go, Harry. Whitehead. Diulio. He'll give it back to Harry. No, he won't. To Camporelli at midfield. Camporelli's kick wobbles off the side of the boot. Bradley. Looks as though he's rehearsing for the FA Cup in a couple of weeks. Did he get one in the back? No. Murphy, good. Pick up. Devonport. Out of bounds. And Bradley, a bit of cramp perhaps. I think that's all it might be. His usual efficient game, Craig Bradley. These two go at it again. Steins over the top of Madden this time. Kick away by O'Brien. Murphy almost. Tingay. Viney looks for holding the ball in the back instead. And who's that on the bottom? Who's he pushed? Let's see who it is. It's Bradley. He looks a little bit the worse for wear. We're just saying, look, there's the scoreboard. Have a look at it. Kick number 11 for Bradley. Between wing and right half forward. Beaumont and Spalding are there for Carlton. Williams rove the front of the pack. Lovett gives it away. Turley. Viney has to beat 2 of them. Bradley's there with Madden. Play on, says the umpire. Murphy tries to gather it into the line. It'll be thrown in.
As the clock runs down, the Blues 21-7, 133. Melbourne 12-14, 86. O'Brien goes short to Clarkson. Steins runs on, takes the short pass. The siren sounds to end a very comfortable win to the Blues. 21-7, 133. Melbourne 12-14, 86. Earl Sporting on screen there with 4 goals. Stephen Kernahan, be disappointed. He went off in the last term with what appears certainly to be a hamstring injury. Clappe, who was a star earlier for Carlton, Marcus Seekamp for Melbourne, but a very easy and comfortable win by the Blues, with Kernahan with 4 goals and Spalding with 4, their major goal kickers, and for Melbourne, Craig Nettlebeck chipped in with 3 goals.
Yes, that's a sorry sight. But 47 points, Barney, in the end. It was 56 at half-time, so Melbourne have kept pace. It really was that second quarter that nailed them to the cross.
Well, it was. I mean, the second half, Carlton have kicked 6-2, very accurate again, as they were for the whole game. And Melbourne have kicked 6 goals, 11, so they've had 9 more scoring shots in the second half. But they're, of course, so far behind at the half-time break that they had to do something extraordinary. They played okay, and they really plugged the game out pretty well, Melbourne, but not enough to look like overtaking the Carlton lead, which has come at a reasonable cost. We know that Peter Dean's already out injured for a fair few weeks with a broken hand, and Michael Sexton, their other tall defender, looks like he's limping, so he might be out for a week or 2. And Stephen Kernahan looks like he's certainly done a hamstring, so they're starting to eat into their reserves, Carlton, so they really needed to win. And Pearce, we're just not quite sure how much longer before he'll be back in the team.
So the final score here at Princes Park, Optus Oval, Carlton 21-7, 133, defeating Melbourne 12-14, 86.